Okay, it's been a little bit, but I think we're back on schedule. So here we go. Friday, December 25th. Free day. Olivia, we're here. I'm nudging her awake, and she keeps pushing away. She keeps pushing my hand away from her. She fell asleep about an hour and a half ago. About 30 minutes after Charlie and 30 minutes before Wes. She pries her eyes open and tries to figure out where we are. Sophie, why didn't you wake me up? She asks in a groggy voice. I pull into the spot near the emergency room entrance. You weren't out that long, I answer. Charlie stretches in the back seat and yawns loud. Loud enough to wake Wes. It's still dark out, but there's a glow coming from the dash that lights up the interior. Sorry, Olivia mumbles. Hate you were up all by yourself. I shake my head. Don't be. Glad everybody else got some sleep. Olivia twists around from the front seat. She points out of her window and says, Guys, look! Looks like there's a Waffle House down the street. Want to get something to eat while we wait on Sophie? They nod, still disoriented. I get out of the car and Olivia comes to slip into the driver's seat. I'll be right here in 1 hour, I say through Olivia's open door. She's busy readjusting the driver's seat. Call us if you need us to get you early, she says. Wes rolls down his window. Are you good to go? Are you good to go in on your own? Yeah. Get me some food, please. Of course. What do you want? Anything, I don't care. And some coffee. Olivia hands me the bag of wrapped gifts we bought earlier. Don't forget these. Thanks, I say, then walk toward the entrance. I stop when I remember to tell Wes to get some creamer for my coffee, and I pull out my phone. They'll have driven away as I tap on his name. I can hear the air horn from here, even with their windows up. Olivia hits the brakes so hard, the tires screech on the pavement. Oh, God. I guess he forgot to change my ringtone. I forgot to change your ringtone, he says when he answers. I can't stop laughing. Creamer. 2, please. I get out. I manage to get out. No problem. Anything else? That's it. I hang up. Charlie rolls down the window and sticks his head out. We're up now. Thanks. Oh, man. Man, that was your fault, Charlie. You're the one who did the air horn ringtone in the first place. So, yeah. Also, you do want to be wide awake if you're driving. In the freaking night. Sorry, I yell across the parking lot as they drive away. It's just after midnight, and there are only a few people in the waiting room. It's really depressing thinking about spending Christmas in the hospital. The woman sitting at the check-in desk looks like she'd rather be anywhere else in the world than right here. What's your emergency? she asks in a... What's your emergency? She asks in a bored voice. I'm just trying to see my sister. She had a baby today. What's the best way to get to the fourth floor? She points me in the direction of the elevator, then gives a complicated list of turns. When I get off the elevator, there are two signs. One points in the direction of Margot's room, and the other points in the direction of the NICU. I don't hesitate. Two turns later, I'm standing in front of a giant plate glass window, staring at several plastic tubs, just like the one Anna was in for the picture. A nurse notices me. She walks to the window and says, "Who are you looking for?" Her voice is muffled through the glass. "Anna Sophia Graf?" She nods, then rolls one of the plastic tubs close to the window, and I get my first look at her. The tubes and wires are all still there, but they fall away when I stare at the beautiful little face. She's tiny, even tinier than I expected. "Is she okay?" I ask loudly. The nurse gives me a small nod before walking away to tend to one of the other babies. The only movement Anna makes is the rise and fall of her little chest. I don't know how long I lean my head against that glass wall and stare at her. After a while, I realize my forehead has gone numb. "Bye, sweet baby. We'll be back to see you soon," I whisper and blow her a kiss. I backtrack the way I came, then turn left toward the hall. Margot's door is closed, and I hesitate before pushing it open. It's the moment of truth. Hopefully my parents stuck with the plan to stay at Margot's. As quietly as possible, I slip into the dark room. Brad is asleep upright in a chair, a blanket thrown over him, and he's snoring loudly. Margot is in the bed, buried under a mountain of covers. There are several machines surrounding her, numbered lights in the area. Numbers lighting up the area. I tiptoe to the bed and whisper, "Margot." Her head turns toward my voice, but her eyes remain closed. She looks really pale, and there are dark circles under her eyes. I decide it's just not worth waking her. I came to see Anna, and I've accomplished that. I turn and head toward the door, but her voice stops me. "Sophie, is that you?" I spin around, and within seconds I'm at the side of her bed. "Yes, I'm here," I whisper, then glance at Brad. He hasn't moved a muscle. "What are you doing here?" "What are you doing here?" Her voice is groggy, and it looks like it takes all the effort to open her eyes. "I promised I would come see the baby when she was born." She stares at me a moment, then slowly scoots over, patting the space next to her. Gently, I crawl into the bed next to her and lace my fingers with hers. She squeezes my hand. "Dad will kill you if he finds out. That's why we won't tell him I was here." We lie there in silence, and I think she's fallen back asleep until she asks, "Did you see her? She's perfect." I answer, "Totally worth the sausage toes." Margot laughs, then moans as if it hurts. "Are you okay?" I answer. She nods. "Yeah, everything is sore, especially in the especially where they opened me up for the C-section. Thank you for giving me. Thank you for giving her my name. I'm going to be the best aunt ever. Margot tilts her head until her forehead rests against mine. I know you will. There are so many things I want to say to her, to ask her, but she looks exhausted. I so wish I could have been here dressed. I so wish I could have seen you dressed as Mary. Her voice is sleepy and her eyes are closed. Margot, that was the worst. So which one was best? Of course, my mind goes straight to Wes when he asked me this same thing on Nana's front steps. Olivia's was fun. So was Sarah's. Oh yeah? Underground Christmas? I need pics. All you have to do is scroll through my feed. It's full of them. She smiles, her eyes still closed. I'm dying to tell you something, but you have to promise it stays between us, like serious promise. I whisper, her eyes open. Tell me. Promise you won't tell. I won't. You know you can tell me anything. I take a deep breath and say, okay, I think Wes almost kissed me the other night, and I'm bummed it didn't happen. And then I bury my face in her shoulder. All I hear for a moment is the rise and fall of Margot's breath. I peek up at her. So? What do you think? She sighs and leans her cheek against my forehead. I love the idea of this, but I'm worried about you. He's one of your oldest friends. It's super hard to go back to that if things don't work out. Just be smart about it, okay? I pull away and look at her. I should have known she'd say this. Her senior year, she started dating one of her close guy friends. It only lasted a couple of weeks, and then they weren't able to go back to normal. After their breakup. This isn't like you and Ryan, I say. She shakes her head. I'm not saying that, and you probably shouldn't be listening to me. My hormones are all over the place. I cried when Uncle Sal sent me a text that said, good luck, with a thumbs up emoji. If you like Wes, and Wes likes you, go for it. But that's the thing. I don't know how I feel about Wes, and certainly don't know how Wes feels about me. I'm stressing over something that I think almost happened. I blame Nana for getting my brain all twisted up. Maybe it would have been better to spend this week crying it out rather than getting all tangled up with all these boys. We lie there in silence, and I'm pretty sure Margot has fallen back asleep. Eventually, I kiss her on the forehead and slip out of her bed. Where are you going? She mumbles. I have to get back. You're not driving back this late, are you? She pries her eyes open. Olivia, Charlie, and Wes are in the car. We're napping and taking turns driving. Text me when you make it home, she says. I nod and point to the floor. There's a bag here with a couple of gifts from Olivia and me. Don't tell Mom where they came from. I'll play dumb. Be safe. I love you. Love you too. I'm tempted to take one more peek at Anna before I leave, but the clock on the wall shows we're already a little behind schedule. My car is exactly where it was when I pulled away, and Wes is in the driver's seat. I get in the back seat and glance up at the rearview mirror. Good view? Good view, he asks. Perfect, I answer, Charlie hands me a white plastic bag. Food, he says. It looks like he's still half asleep, and Olivia is already already sacked out. In the seat next to me, I eye Charlie. If you need me to, I can stay up and keep Wes company. Nah, I'm good. Eat and then get some rest. I open the bag and find a styrofoam container of pancakes. Thanks, I'm starving. Charlie nods and turns down the volume of the radio. How are Margot and the baby? He asks. I recap and revisit between bites, while Wes gets us back on the interstate. I'm glad we did this, Wes says, his eyes on me. I smile at him. Me too. I'm shifting around, trying to get comfortable, when I hear Griffin's name. Do you think they'll get back together? Wes asks. I glance around the car, but all I can see is the upholster ceiling. Olivia and I have somehow ended up lying side by side, her balancing on the front edge of the seat, while I'm pinned between her and the back seat of the back and the back of the seat. What? Charlie mumbles. Wes repeats his question. Do you think they'll get back together? Is he asking because we almost kissed the other night? Is he regretting it even though it didn't happen? Charlie must be distracted by the radio. I hear snippet after snippet of music filtering through the speakers. Who knows? I hope not. He finally answers. Charlie finally settles on a modern remake of Little Drummer Boy. Wes says, I heard them talking this morning. It sounded like he wanted her back. Of course he does. Soap's a cool girl. And he's not. He's an ass. And he's been seeing those pics of her having a good time without him. I can't help the smile that breaks out across my face. No matter how much time passes, Charlie and Olivia will always have my back. She did look amazing in that dress the other night. Wes says, it takes everything in me not to squeal. And he's had the nerve to say that maybe they had just gotten lazy. Wes adds that if they tried hard enough, they could get back to when it was fun. I mean, of course people get lazy when they're with the same person for a long time, but that doesn't mean they're not still happy or having fun. If lazy is enough to ruin a relationship, then maybe there's more wrong than just being lazy. They're quiet a few minutes. Then Charlie asks, is this about Laurel? Wes sighs. I feel like we both worked hard to make this long-distance thing work, but it's not working. We're in two totally different places. I told you it was a horrible idea, Charlie says. Wes lets out a quiet laugh. Yeah, you did. More than once. I thought it would be easy once she was home on break. But I didn't think either of us wanted it. I don't think either of us wants it anymore. All Laurel wants to do is hang out with people she met at school. And I'd rather hang out with you three. The last week has been good. Really good. So, are all those deep thoughts about Sophie? Because me, you, and Olivia are always together. She's the only thing that's new about this week. don't think Wes is going to answer. Then he finally says, "Yeah, I'm glad she's here." Charlie lets out a deep breath. "Look, I know I made a big deal out of you not dating either of them because it might ruin our group. But we lost Sophie anyway. What I am worried about is that it feels like we're just now getting her back. I don't want anything to happen that pushes her away again. You know what I mean?" Charlie's words hit me in the gut. They feel like they lost me. I know, I'm just saying I'd rather be doing nothing with the three of you than anything with Laurel. They don't say anything else, and then even though I didn't think it would be possible, it's not long before I drift back off to sleep. Charlie, Olivia, and I part ways with Wes in Nana's front yard about an hour before sunrise. I want to hug him and thank him for driving us home, but after the awkward conversation I overheard in the car, I don't trust myself to go near him. I settled for a wave, and from the driveway, the three of us tiptoe quietly inside the back door and come to a dread stop when we see Nana standing at the kitchen counter, baking ingredients spread out in front of her. "How are they doing?" she asks. We all start talking over each other, each with a different excuse, but Nana just shakes her head. I look at her with what I hope is reassurance. Anna is so tiny and so beautiful. But those tubes and wires look worse in person. Margot seems good, but really tired and sore. Nana starts cracking eggs in a bowl. I'm feeling full of Christmas spirit, so I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be happy you all made it home in one piece and send you off to bed. You can find a few blow-up mattresses in the game room. But I expect you bright-eyed and bushy-tailed when it's time to line up. Yes, ma'am, we all mutter. Then silently trudge upstairs to the game room in the attic. There are several bunk beds positioned around the large room, all of which are already taken. Christmas Eve is the one night everyone in my family tries to sleep under one roof, so that we're all together when we open gifts. The larger our family has gotten, though, the harder it has become. We each pull a mattress from the pile Nana keeps on the shelf in the corner, while Charlie pulls out the electric pump to blow them up. Olivia and I hunt down some blankets and pillows. I'm out the second I lay down. When my little cousins come screeching through the room to wake us up 2 hours later, I feel like I've only slept for 5 minutes. It's going to be a long day. There are cinnamon rolls and blueberry muffins and coffee cakes spread across the counter when Olivia and I squeeze into an open spot at the bar. pouring coffee down our throats and trying to wake up. The mood is chaotic. The littles are running around, their sticky fingers touching everything and everyone they pass, while my aunts and uncles mill around the kitchen. Everyone looks ridiculous. Everyone looks ridiculous in our matching Christmas pajamas. Nana finds a design she likes sometimes in August. And every group is responsible for each member of our family. Olivia and I only remembered to throw ours on just before we came downstairs. This year's theme is Santa on skis against a light blue background. Most of my aunts are wearing the long nightgown version, while the uncles got PJ bottoms and tops. Olivia and I are wearing sleep shorts with the t-shirts. The worst was the year she picked the onesies that made us all look like reindeer, including a hood with antlers attached. There are more than just a few members of our family who should never wear onesies. Once breakfast is done, it's time for our next Christmas morning tradition. Last night, just like every other Christmas, each branch picked their spot in the family room and stacked their gifts into small piles. Once the gifts were sectioned off and notes and milk and cookies were left for Santa, the door to the family room was shut until morning. Here's where the brutal part comes in. No one is allowed in the room on Christmas morning until Nana has 2 cups of coffee, and she drinks them slowly. So right now, all of the kids under the age of 10, lined up from youngest to oldest, are melting down in the hallway. Olivia and I have moved to the table next to Nana, where she's sipping her coffee. Charlie still hasn't gotten up, even though Uncle Charles kept yelling his name from the bottom of the stairs. "Is this decaf?" Aunt Patrice asks. She chose the PJs that look like thermal underwear, and they leave nothing to the imagination. It was a bad choice. Heavens to Betsy! Why would we make a pot of decaf? Aunt Maggie May answers. Aunt Maggie May is dressed in black slacks and a green sweater. She'll wear the PJs to bed, but refuse to stay in them. And her hair and makeup are perfect. She brings the Evil Joes each a cup at the end of the table, where they're sitting with their noses buried in their phones. We're going to have to start renting out the banquet room of the Hilton. We are going to have to start renting out the banquet room of the Hilton, Nana, Olivia says. There's not 1 inch of space in this kitchen that isn't occupied by a human body. Oh, there's plenty of room, Nana says, loving every minute of this. Uncle Michael, who just walked up the stairs, makes a production of inching the door to the family room open and squeezing his head through the tight space. He stays like this for a few seconds, then pulls his head out and shuts the door. His eyes are wide and the kids are frozen in their spots, staring at him. Here we go. The torture. Someone get a bike, he yells, and the kids shriek. Nana rolls her eyes and takes another small sip from her cup, but she loves this part too. I can remember when Charlie, Olivia, and I, along with the evil Joes, were withering against the wall, just like the little ones are now. Not to be outdone, Jake says... Wait, was that Jake? Yeah, Jake says... Pretty sure I saw a dollhouse in there. A pink one? The girls scream loudly. Man, I've always wanted a dollhouse. My phone vibrates on the table, and I flip it open. Wait, they have flip phones? Sorry. I flip it open to see a text from Margot. What cup? Margot. What cup is she on? I can't help but laugh. Me, halfway through the second one. The littles are going nuts. Margot, just like you did. Me, how's my niece this morning? Margot, I just got back from seeing her. She's gorgeous and I fell apart because I can't hold her yet. Ugly cried. Now my boobs are hooked up to these pumps and like every other part of my body, and they will never be the same. Me, God, Margot, not the visual. I needed this early in the morning. Margot, the outfits are adorable. Of course, Mom has a million questions about where they came from. Me, sorry I had to lie to her. Margot, small price to pay for the visit. Thank you for coming to see us. It was the perfect gift. Oh. I scrub my hand across my face to brush away the tears that well up. Nana watches me, then sets her cup down. I think I'm ready to go in, she says. Within 10 minutes, there are paper and ribbons and bows whipping through the air like they're caught in hurricane force winds. It's chaos, but the absolute best kind. Nana circles the room, commenting on each gift she sees and delighting in the pandemonium. There we go. She stops next to me and whispers, Your mother sent over a few things. She didn't want you to be empty-handed this morning. Nana points to a small pile next to Olivia. I stare at the packages with my name on them for several minutes before I start opening them, trying not to get too emotional. She got me the phone case I've been wanting, along with a new pair of boots and an assortment of my favorites from Sephora. I pop the old case off my phone and start wrestling on the new one. Aunt Kelsey's 4 daughters parade around the room in their new princess dresses, while Denver and Dallas battle it out with Mary and Franny with their new lightsabers. Uncle Sal's son, Banks, is testing out his new guitar. Oh, cool. While Webb, with 2 B's, who still isn't wearing pants, is steamrolling over everything. And everyone on his new hoverboard. Olivia struggles to open the gigantic jar of bread and buttered pickle slices. She gets a jar like that every year, and every year it's the first thing she opens. When Olivia was 5, she ate an entire container of these pickles at Aunt Kelsey's house, so when Christmas rolled around that year, Aunt Kelsey gave her a huge jar of them. There's something about getting this ridiculously oversized jar every year that makes her so happy. She pops one in her mouth and says, "I'm seriously going to need this nap later." Yeah, maybe we can sneak away before lunch. Olivia looks at the mess around me, then nudges a small box toward me with her foot. "You forgot one," she says. Sure enough, there's a small package wrapped in brown paper with my name on it. I tear off the wrapping and open the plain lid. Inside, there are small silver bracelets with something hanging off from them. I hold them closer so I can see what it is. Oh, is that a charm bracelet? Olivia says. I think so. And then it clicks. There are 2 letters hanging from it. S. Letters hanging from it, an S and a G. Surely my mom would not have bought me this. There's a card in the bottom of the box. Olivia hands me a small square of paper. Sophie. Saw this bracelet while I was shopping with my mom yesterday and thought of you. I think these letters look good together, don't you? Merry Christmas, Griffin. I show Olivia the card, and her face scrunches up when she reads it. Not sure what to think about that. I tuck the card and the bracelet back in the box because, I don't either. Ugh. Charlie walks toward us wearing a University of Arkansas hoodie he must have gotten as a gift this morning. Olivia throws up her hands. We're banishing you from this club. I'm the president of that club, so that's not possible, he says, pushing her arm down. I'm sitting between us. Let me see. Uncle Bonnie gave me this, and I'm wearing it until Uncle Sal notices. But I'm not the one you need to be worried about. Ask Sophie about some of the colleges she's applied to. Olivia leans forward to look at me. I know she's thinking about our old LSU pact, the one that I didn't think was even relevant anymore. Where did you apply? I've applied to a bunch of different places, like Massachusetts. Charlie adds, You hate it when you get too cold, she says. Charlie holds up his hands and nods, as if he's yanking her as if he's thanking her for making a point. I haven't decided for sure, I say. Olivia gives me a small frown, then gets up from the chair. It's Christmas, and there are still cinnamon rolls in the kitchen. Let's go eat. We've hit the food coma stage of the day, but Pa and my uncles are, that is not an R, that is an N, okay, are stacked out in chairs while the game plays on the TV in front of them. Nana and my aunts are still around the dining room table, visiting and drinking their weight in coffee to keep from falling asleep. The cousins have taken over the family room since the little ones don't want to stay there too far from their gifts. I think this is the first time I've seen the evil Joes look happy, I say to Olivia and Charlie. The three of us are squeezed together on the oversized chairs. Across from us, the evil Joes are sitting on the couch next to their boyfriends, Aiden and Brent. There has to be something wrong with them. The guys are exactly who I imagine Aunt Maggie May would expect her daughters to date. Tall, preppy, handsome. But they also seem normal, which is why we're confused. Charlie leans in close. Maybe they're like those pod people, regular on the outside, but some weird alien life form on the inside. Oh my gosh, maybe the evil Joes aren't even evil. Or maybe the evil Joes are only evil to us. Or maybe we're the evil ones for not seeing them the way their boyfriends do. Both Olivia and Charlie stare at me like I've grown an extra head. Do I need to remind you what happened at the beach? Charlie says. Do I need to remind you what happened at the beach? We need to tattoo I'm never getting over it on his forehead. We all remember what happened at the beach, Olivia says. Charlie rolls his eyes. It's not just that. There are lots of moments like that. Remember the water park in Dallas? Field day in 6th grade? The Easter egg hunt at church when we were 7? His voice gets louder with each incident he recalls. Olivia and I shush him. Evil Joes are evil, he whispers. I push up from the chair, leaving them to their speculations over Aiden and Brett, and head to the kitchen. Lunch is over, and all of our food, except for the desserts, have been cleared away. I walk to the window and peer out at Wes's house. He told us last night that he'd be at his grandmother's house for most of the day, but that doesn't stop me from checking. I hear movement behind me and spin around, but it's only Aiden, Mary Jo's boyfriend. He's carrying a couple of empty glasses and a plate. Hey, he says, then moves to the sink to deposit the dirty dishes. Hey, I say back. I grab a cookie off the plate on the counter and slide into a chair at the kitchen table. He starts to walk out the kitchen, but then turns toward me. MJ told me your sister had her baby early. Same thing happened to my sister a few months ago. I perk up. Are they okay now? I ask. He moves closer to the table. Yeah, they're both good. Let me show you a picture of my nephew. He was so little when he was born, but in just a few months, he gained a ton of weight. Aiden scrolls through the pictures on his phone with just one hand while pulling the chair up with another. Once he's seated next to me, he shows me the picture. He shows me the screen, and sure enough, there is an adorable little boy with a double chin and fat, fluffy arms. Oh my God, he's so cute! I squeal. Aiden leans forward to swipe through several more with one hand. What's his name? I ask. John, he says, after my dad. So how early was he? I ask. Aiden looks up at the ceiling. I think maybe 4 or 5 weeks. He was in the NICU for a week. But then he was okay to go home. It felt good to hear this. Good to see this chunky little baby who started out the same way little Anna has. We're both ooh and ah over his phone. We were both oohing it. We both ooh and ah over his phone. So neither of us hear Mary Jo until she's right beside us. Ready to go? Ready to go, she says in a sharp voice. From Aiden's expression, I can tell it's one he's heard before. Sure, I'm ready when you are, he says. He stands up and nods at me. See you later. I nod back and then look at Mary Jo. Yeah, she's pissed. Aiden walks away, but Mary Jo stays put. I would think you'd be too busy with all these dates to be so flirty with my boyfriend. Seriously, Mary Jo, we were just talking. He was showing me pics of his nephew. You're totally overreacting. She rolls her eyes. Yeah, I guess that's what us evil Joes do. Yikes. I didn't think they knew we called them that. Before I can come up with a response, she moves to the board and picks up one of the dry erase. And picks up one of the dry erase. She picks up one of the markers from the dry erase board. Before I can come up with a response, she moves to the board and picks up one of the dry erasers. The dry erase markers. I won't be able to come by in the morning to write down what your date is, so I'll just do it now. Oh no, this won't be good. Mary Jo writes, 6 p.m., dinner and a movie. Huh, that doesn't sound bad. But then she turns around and gives me a creepy smile. The same smile she had when she turned the lock on our condo, trapping Charlie outside in his underwear. She walks away, and I'm left staring at the words she wrote like they're a secret message. Like there's a secret message to uncover. There's no way it's just dinner and a movie. No way. I'm not sure how long I stand there, but eventually Charlie and Olivia end up on either side of me. It can't be that simple, Olivia says. Use the get out of date card. Use it now, Charlie says. But there's still Aunt Maggie May. Olivia argues, and then we're all silent, still trying to figure out what the evil Joes have planned.